This is Christian from Necrofier, and you're listening to The Dan Chan Show.
I have Christian from Texan black metal outfit Necrofier. How you doing today, mate?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Very well, thanks for asking. Morning for you, evening for me. You're in Houston, aren't you?
Yes.
So what time is it there now? 8 o'clock?
No, it's noon now. Or yeah,
Noon, is it?
no, 11. Sorry, 11.
11. There you go. You're losing the time of day. So if you had your morning big, like gigantic coffee you Americans have.
Yeah, I got up, had a bunch of coffee, went to the gym. Now I'm back. So
good stuff, mate. Good stuff. So I'll get straight into it because you've just released your third album, a really epic album. I really enjoyed listening to it, called Transcend into Oblivion. Only a week old. How's the response been so far?
Everything's been great so far. Lots of positive responses. People really seem into it. We have like a band variant copy we sold a bunch of, and I've been getting a lot of feedback, like people messaging and things about how much they like the record and things.
Do you purposely go looking for that kind of reviews, or do you wait for people to come to you, or do you go snooping on YouTube video?
I occasionally will, like, there's a couple people I'll look to see like what they post, and then some of them I just don't. I got like reviews and stuff for some part. I just don't care. It's like it's a bunch of people's opinions, and like if they say something I don't want to hear, then I'm just gonna think about it. And I don't like some of that. I don't want to like I'll read some, but I try not to read too many. Like just somebody that has a blog running up the record. I don't need to necessarily like weigh their opinion on how I feel about the record.
Sure. I get it. Now, I really enjoyed your 2023 album, Burning Shadows in the Southern Night. Now, you said recently, and I think in an interview, you said this album, as in the new album, really ended up where I always wanted to go. So how do you think you've evolved from 23 to, to this album? What's happened to what changes in the style or the writing process or whatever that's evolved?
I think the two things I wanted to lean more into kind of like the second wave of black metal like vibes. Also, at the same time, adding in more kind of like layering like we did on this with the synths and like choirs and organs and like even just like straight some like 80s synth thing like used like pads and things. Like we can do it. So it's our drummer Dauber is also like very well versed at piano and things like that. So it's something we've like kind of put in records, but we haven't really gone full force on. Also, a lot of like the more kind of like chanting, clean singing I've been wanting to just kind of go overboard on some of the record. And then it's kind of laying a little more aggressive rather than I say like the last record was a little more like in like the kind of like heavy metal, like Rotting Cry's Bathory range, like mid-air Bathory, which I love. And I really like that last record, except this one, it was just kind of wanted to go a little more aggressive and like have it capture how we feel live is the big thing. Like I feel that with us, that's, I would say the big selling factor on some of it is just like how we are as a live show. So, and I feel like this record can really capture that energy.
Do you write with live in mind? Do you write knowing
not necessarily like this record? It came up. I came up with like the concept I've been wanting to do for a while, and then it kind of just when I was writing some of it, I was like just writing towards the themes of the record and like things like that, rather than writing to be live. I feel like we tracked it more to get live, where we did it a little different on this record, where we tracked guitars first,
right?
And then we went into the studio, like in our drummer's studio, and then we went into a bigger studio to record vocals and drums. And when we did that, like we didn't rehearse this record at all. We like went we demoed it, and then we went into record. So when Dauber went in to do drums, we didn't rehearse any of it. I mean, I'm sure he knew what he wanted to do, but he was just like, "Cool, let's go."
Really?
And then vocals, like usually in the past, I would rehearse vocals out like extensively, so I just go in there and nail what I wanted to do. And I had only gone through these songs maybe once, like because like I knew which lyrics were going to go to which song, except I'd kind of like played the song once, like the demo, and then kind of like get like maybe like grasp like, okay, cool, like just an idea of where I want stuff to go. But I did the same thing where it's like when we started doing the vocals, it was like, cool, here's the song, here's the lyric sheet, and then it was just like, and then just kind of like see what happens.
That have a more organic feel to it, because I mean I'm a drummer myself, and I can't imagine going to a studio and then playing to not being the first one to lay the track down. You know what I mean?
It's like it kind of like much different process than like we had done in the past, because usually it's always drums first and things like that.
Sure, sure,
And
sure.
but yeah, I don't know. I really like how I like changing things up in the studio, just and like this one really worked.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm sure we'll. I mean, I'm not sure what we'll do with the next record. Probably something along the lines, but I like the some kind of change or things that you're like to make you uncomfortable. I feel like brings out things that are brings more things out rather than you're just like, cool, this is how we do it.
Sure.
It's like, just you're like kind of on autopilot with new
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I get it. You got to think thinking outside the box a bit makes changes in it
Yeah.
up. So, how do you approach actually writing the music? Do you have to be in a certain space to write the music, or do you get the feeling and it hits you, or how does it go with that? And is that
I feel like
is that a you thing, or do the band all get involved?
uh, everybody in the band writes things, and then usually kind of like either whole songs are created or we kind of collaborate on them, or they change up a little bit after that. But at least for me, when I'm writing stuff, I feel like it either just comes or it's like I kind of like set a space where uh, get in the mindset, like light some incense, kind of just like try to get out of my own head, and then it kind of just start playing to see what kind of comes out. Or yeah, or it's just like this something just I'm like, what is yeah, okay, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Those are the two things I feel like mostly that happen with me.
Right. Okay. Got you.
But
Now,
it's usually like if I just come up with something randomly where I'm not kind of like going into it, look like kind of looking for it. It's usually I would say when I'm like most distracted or like I can't really focus.
right.
It
Got
kind of
you.
takes like takes you out of your own head. So you're not like, oh, I need to write this cool riff or whatever the fuck people think when they want to write a riff for me. It's just like, oh, you start playing something and you're like, what the fuck was
Yeah.
that? Okay, this is something.
Got you. Got you. Now, tell me about the concept of the album. There's a three theme, right, going through it. Can you explain the reason why you came to that? And obviously, it's your third album. Tell me about it.
So wanted like in the past, like we have like there's songs and they're like, it's cohesive as in they work together and like kind of topics in the same kind of like Luciferianism stuff, occult, things like that. This
Hmm.
one wanted to go more in depth where it was like the whole record's about something.
Hmm.
Uh, I've been wanting, I don't remember where I came up with the concept, but I wanted to do like a Luciferian Dark Night of the Soul, like and add in philosophy into it, but also like personal experience into the lyrics and stuff. Because it's basically like the record split into three parts where it's awakening and then like struggle and torment and then like ascension.
Hmm.
So we ended up separating it a little bit later. The record already progressed the same way, except I didn't really realize it until later that it actually fit into three things. And we were talking about it as a band, and then we decided to split it up like that, and then just kind of organically things happen where it was like, okay, this record it's 9 songs split into three, and then we have we didn't even shoot to do 3 interludes. We kind of just started working on some stuff and it happened.
Yeah.
So it kind of like organically put itself together and parts like that afterwards.
Got you. So let me take you back a bit of time in Christian's life. How did you find black metal in the first place? And what was your journey to get, your metal journey, shall we say? Because it always starts off a little bit gentle, then gets heavier and heavier. That's what mine did. So
When
what about you?
so when I was like a kid, I listened to. I mean, like I was born in 1980, so there was. Sorry, I'm trying to shut this thing off because it's starting to go off.
So, mate.
Yeah, so I was born in the 80s, so like when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of Metallica, Megadeth, Sepultura, Pantera from Texas, like it's like that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. I got into black metal. I think it was early 2000s. It was Satyricon. I think was the first black
Yeah.
metal record. I
Hmm.
got like
Volcano, was
and,
it? Was it Volcano?
I mean,
The first
it was
one?
diabolical.
Was
Yeah, I
it?
mean
Oh
with
yeah.
King and all that. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think so. That was because that was also in the time like Dimmu and Cradle, I guess, had become popular
Yeah.
because black metal in the States is not anything as like it is in Europe as
Of
far as
course.
widespread and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that was like the first thing that like really exposed me to it. And that after that, it was kind of lots of
Reg-
led down paths like dissection, and then like Watain, and then just everything from there, kind of
yeah.
stuff.
I can have a few Watain moments in your music in a good way.
Yeah, I would. I mean, Watain, like I feel musically and just is a big inspiration. Like they kind of ride that where it's black metal, but I feel like it's like it also has core roots in like punk and heavy metal and other things, but mixed like but not where it's like straight that it's not like they're not a heavy metal like black metal band, but they have the influences
Of
or like
course.
the core kind of thing where and that's kind of that's where I come from on a lot of stuff too. And that same like whenever I was 18, I got into hair metal and Manowar and things like that, like and Sirathungal and things like in that range.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to heavy metal for a very long time. So it kind of progressed from into that. So I feel, and besides the fact that I really like Watain, it mixed the other influences that come from it. Also, like my influences come from some of the things I feel like they're into. So
Sure. So you touched upon it, but what's the is there a kind of a black metal scene? I'm not going to say in Texas. I don't want to just centralize it to your state, but as in states in general, is there a black metal scene as such?
well, I feel like like in America, like right now, it's probably split between like newer black metal bands and then like some like say the old school guard of like Absu and things in that range. Because right now, like in like more, I would say popular things in North America. There's Holder, there's Lamp of Murmur, Black Braid, Cloak, come other stuff like that. But
Quote, yeah.
some of that crosses into I think some of the older guys, but some of it doesn't.
Mhm.
Like it's black metal, so like fucking everyone hates each other.
Yeah.
So which is fine. But like there's like I feel like there's two different like there's that world and then there's the new world, and sometimes they cross.
Hmm.
But there's like I mean there's for a long time I think in metal there's been like a gap of not newer kids not playing anything that hasn't been
Hmm.
like deathcore or something that like I don't listen to or care about.
Mm.
So I feel like like kids like 18 to 22, it's kind of changed. Where there's a lot of like they're really into black metal, they're really into thrash, they're into some things where I hadn't seen anybody pick up in a while, and like at least over here. So
How do you feel that the in 2026 up to now the black metal scene is? Do you think it's got a fresh blood, as you mentioned, some of those bands I know Cloak have had on the show before and stuff like that, and there's some great black metal bands coming through, and there's still some of the old school still bringing albums out as well.
yeah,
So how do you feel that the black metal is surviving in 2026?
I think black metal is doing well in 2026. I would say maybe it's not like on the like it's cool or like on the top of something like that or whatever
We
that
don't want
means.
it to be though, do we?
I did it don't like it's like when it gets to be like when it I can't remember when it was around 2010, 2012 or something like that whenever like there was a bunch of people I know they were like, oh yeah, do you listen to this? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like
Yeah, yeah,
why does everybody think black metal is cool?
yeah, yeah.
uh I mean it's great for everyone playing and things like that. It was just a little strange. Like yeah, I feel like it's right where kind of it needs to be at the moment where uh people are very like I feel like if you listen to black metal, you're very into black metal. Like
Mm.
there's not a lot of casual black metal fans. I
No,
guess it's
no.
like there's because there's casual. You can casually listen to death metal, or you can casually listen to stoner rock or heavy metal and things like that. But I feel like
Yeah.
when it comes to black metal, you're either in or out. And I feel like everybody when people are like the people are into it support it. So that really kind of like holds it home without it spilling into being more popular.
Can I ask this question? I love asking black metal artists this question because I think a lot of people do write with this in mind. Do you ever write and imagine how your listener would listen to your music? It's unlike, as you say, it's not as casual listening like thrash. You have to sit down. Do you imagine like a candlelight with a glass of red wine, or do you want them to be walking through a woods, or what vibe do you feel when someone should be listening to Necrofier?
So okay, yeah, not when I'm writing, but like after like say like to listen to this record, I would say yeah, like something like having listening to it, dark room, candlelight, maybe some incense, like just as a piece. This because
Mm,
this record flows where it's not just like oh check out this song.
sure, no, absolutely.
I feel like it's like it's more it demands more. I feel like of people to listen where it's like this, like hey, take some time
Yeah.
and just like experience the record, opposed to like check out track 3, it's sick or something. So Yeah, like something like that. Maybe a glass of wine, glass of scotch, or whatever people drink or don't drink,
Perfect.
and just like just sit there and like listen to the record. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be pitch black or anything like that, but it
Yeah.
definitely, like that kind of vibe, like in that
Got you.
range.
Yeah, I got you. Now with the current, I don't know which side of the fence you are, Christian, obviously, but I think I might know. But with the current state of affairs in the States right now, the world's watching what situation in the Middle East. There's a lot of, I can imagine a lot of people turning to, like, as you say, something a bit of dark music, esoteric music to get away from this MAGA Christian craziness going on. Do you
Yeah, it's a little nuts.
is that tangible? Is that noticeable?
Um, on the internet, it for sure is, but I feel some of that thing is like, I mean, I live in this like not like the traditional South in America, but Texas is still very
Of course.
conservative
Yeah, yeah.
and like where it's there is extreme like extremist Christians is not the word I'm looking for, like fundamentalist Christians in Texas, and there's a good amount of them. Like, did they affect my life? No. Besides maybe whatever, but like like there has been a rise in that in America, and I feel like I don't know if it's just people being loud on the internet and things like that. But it's I mean it's fucking insane. Just most of the stuff, especially when they tie some of that in with politics, makes it more insane.
Hmm.
Like I didn't think it could get worse, and then I'm like, okay, you made this worse.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I can imagine more people turning to, like some heavier forms of music to have a bit of therapy. I know I would if I was in this. If I was,
Well,
you know,
I feel like there's gonna like especially like the like everything just seems to getting more chaotic, and I mean, people are gonna have to turn to something that's kind of beyond whatever's happening to I really almost like deal with it, even if it happens to them subconsciously.
mm,
Like you sit there and just watch the news, it's like the fucking world's ending. Like everything's fucked.
mm.
Uh, it's too much, and
That's
it's consistently like it keeps coming. It's not like oh this happened. It's like here's another thing. Is that really real?
I
What is
know.
this?
It's almost like perfect fodder for black metal creativity.
Yeah. Because on some of that, like I try to, as much as I can, I try to exist out of like aside from all of that. If things need to be done, it's different, and it's certain things like that. But just sitting there and obsessing about what happened today on
Mm,
something, well, just
mm.
I mean, it'll make you crazy.
I know. I know exactly.
Especially, I mean, like I feel like the world's not doing well right now, but America's like is definitely like what the fuck. And
Well,
I've been out of the country twice already this year, and both times I was like this holy shit. The amount of like American jokes and shit going on is
oh,
like quadrupled.
yeah, you won't believe it. I was in the States twice last year, and I was right January, February. I was in the States last year, and I really noticed a difference. And I can imagine what it's like now, so many, 14 months later, how the vibe is, because the Europeans and the rest of the world are noticing. We're all watching,
Yeah.
especially with
Yeah,
that.
it's very like I feel like it used to be like people could be like what's going on, and now it's like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
I mean
Okay,
that's
wait.
how I feel about it as well. But yeah, we don't have to talk about politics
Sure,
all
sure,
day.
sure, sure, sure.
Fuck all that.
Now, let's get back to it because obviously shows. How prolific are you with shows? What's coming up? What's on the agenda to back this awesome album up?
We are the first show we're doing with the new record is we're playing in a couple weeks with Acid Bath, Obituary, and
Nice.
High.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
That's a good gig. Yeah. Is that a one-off?
I mean,
Is that a tour? Is that one-off?
Acid Bath only does one-off shows. Like they just fly in for
Yeah.
weekend shows. They don't do any
Mhm.
touring.
Yeah.
So it's basically almost like a mini fest at that point with those
Sure
like
it
everybody
is.
else.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. To get the Tardy Brothers on it. It's brilliant.
Besides that, we're doing Maryland Death Fest in May. We're also playing this the San Luis Metal Festival in Mexico, which is some crazy big free festival the government's putting on, or like the
Wow.
state puts on it. I don't know.
Sounds
It's supposed. I
awesome.
don't even know. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll be way. It's like us, Marduk, Possessed, Metal Church, like a
Wow.
bunch of bands. So it should be pretty crazy. I don't even want to know how many people are going to come out since it's free. But
Yeah. What about getting
uh,
further about,
uh,
any
we
shows?
should be coming. We're coming to Europe in September, except it's not announced for something. So
Okay.
look out for
Okay,
that.
cool. That's good to know. That's good to know. Now,
We'll
what
have some tours in the U.S. and some other stuff too. It's just like most of it's like okay, cool, this is happening, but it's not announced, or this is we're working on some things, but it's
Nice, nice. So what's a Necrofier show like? Obviously, we discussed and touched on it earlier. What's the energy like? What's is it black metal show? Is it lots of dark lights? Not dark lights. That's a bit of a contradiction. But what's it like?
So we try to like live shows like super important to us. So we have like usually show is like a like I have a special mic stand like or like the mic stand like we've made like a ram skull on it and some other things like some antlers and stuff from just other stuff. Mix it in like with usually have candelabras on stage depending on the venue.
Yeah,
Lots of smoke. Bring the lights down sometimes, but not the whole time. Like like we use like lights to accent things, and sometimes like pick it up where it's not just
yeah,
where it's it's not like full Judas Priest show, but it's not just like a
got you,
no. It's not all just solemnly backlit with no lights moving.
got you,
Yeah,
got you.
try to balance it out somewhere where like it looks like it stays true to being black metal, but also like a little bit of heavy metal influence to make it like a show.
Sure. What's what do you prefer? Do you prefer the studio or the stage, Christian? What's your if you could do one thing, one
I
thing?
mean, I used to like I could if you asked me this 10 years ago, I would exclusively be like I would like to play some shows. Now I really enjoy the studio a lot more.
Yeah,
And then I like playing, but I like playing when I want to play with the right things.
yeah, got
Like
you.
like it used to be like cool, these guys want to go on tour. I'm like, that's cool, let's go. Now it's
Yeah,
all who's asking? Nah, I don't think like it's we're like all of us are older at this point, like in our 40s. So leaving home's like is much different than it used to be.
yeah, got
So
you.
it's like if we're gonna leave, I mean, like I love to tour and I love playing shows, but it needs to be the right things and not just like, oh, cool, we got some shows.
Have you played Norway?
Have not
I
playing
mean,
Norway on the tour though.
oh yeah. I mean, you obviously got to go to Nesblod Records, right, in Oslo. I went
Yeah,
there earlier or late last year. I went for the first time. First time I went, it was closed. The second time, it was actually open and going to the basement and everything. Oh my God, it's like a pilgrimage. The hairs on end. You know what I mean? You got to go there.
we so my family is Norwegian, as in I mean they immigrated to America
Really,
100 years ago, but
man,
that's
it's in
where
your
they
blood. That's where it came from. It's
yeah.
there.
I mean, so it's like it's something very special to me that it's finally happening where it's like
Very cool. Very,
play
very
black
cool.
metal, play it back in like the homeland for all things, stuff like that. So
That's amazing. Watch this space. Right. Got some simple questions, but just some questions I need answering from you. What's one thing everyone should try at least once? Come to a Necrofier show.
mushrooms. Wait, what
Yeah,
are we talking
yeah,
about?
that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
uh, for
You'd
sure.
have,
Yeah, psych.
yeah, you'd have to, yeah, you'd have to elaborate. If you could know the
Uh,
truth, if you could know the truth to one question, what question would it be?
ooh, this one's a tough one because there's like a hold on. Let me think for this for a second because there's like things I would like. Cool, I'd like to know that, but I'd rather almost not know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go on. What came to mind first?
Like what happens after you die. I'd rather be like cool an idea and things like that than everyone being and then ever being told like yeah this is what it is and like
Right.
fuck
Yeah. Yeah.
because no
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
what it
I
is
got
it
it.
kind of changes things too much.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna move on. If you could
Yeah.
steal credit for any piece of art, song, film, or anything that's out there, pre your creativity, what would you claim?
Ooh, okay, so on these kind of questions there's stuff that I really love and I don't necessarily want to claim anybody else's thing even
I
like
get it.
I
No,
mean
I get it.
even
I,
in a weird hypothetical situation it still makes me as an artist feel weird saying any of that
yeah.
uh,
Okay. Let's go back. What do you
yeah.
appreciate? Give me something you appreciate. Something like a big film, a big album, a big book, big piece of art.
Like
Something.
one of my favorite movies is The Ninth Gate. Art appreciate like especially old stuff like Gustav Doré and things like that is just insane. Especially a
Yeah.
lot of like, art from that time frame. It's all this existed like this long ago.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or
Okay.
it stuff that still strikes hundreds of years later. Like where
Hmm.
it's just like oh
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll still talk about this.
Got it.
Where it's like a constant image that you would see on the internet. Even like that somebody that's created something that long ago that does not like they could never comprehend like how much maybe influence or like just how long their stuff would live on for.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. What would your walk on song be? I know you're big into wrestling or boxing,
Yeah.
whatever. What would your walk on song be? Something to get you pumped up.
Walk on song.
You're a gym goer as well. So something that's going to get you pumped. What would it be?
Let's just go with Motorhead. Motorhead.
Yeah. Why not? Okay, what's your unpopular musical opinion?
Unpopular music opinion. Uh, I don't know if it's unpopular anymore. I listen to a lot of like synthesizer 80s goth soundtrack stuff, which I feel like people used to talk shit about now, but everybody likes.
All right,
But unpopular music opinion.
you can pass.
Okay,
Go.
I really like Rain Chaos, and a lot of people
Uh,
seem to like fucking
okay,
hate.
okay,
There you
that's
go.
good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah,
Out there.
yeah.
Here's one that divides. Should non-metalheads wear metal shirts?
I mean, they're going to anyways. I mean, on some of it, I feel like it just depends. Like if you're wearing a Misfits shirt or a Slayer shirt or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
at this point, those things are beyond just being a
They're
band
in they're
shirt.
in regular shops now.
Yeah, like
They're licensed. But a Jevil shirt is not going to be,
no, like yeah, if you're wearing shirt like that, it like if you're anything that's like underground and this and that, and you don't listen to it, I feel like yeah, it's like blasphemy. Like don't put that shit on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's too far.
It's not
Like
cool. It's not cool.
it doesn't yeah, it doesn't do anything cool. It just makes you look like an idiot. You can wear a
Yeah,
Slayer shirt and you're like this.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
That's all
Like
right.
I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
sure, we know you don't really listen to Slayer, or maybe you do. It doesn't matter, but it's yeah, it sends a different message.
I get it. So, who do you think is the new legacy band? We're about the same age, mate. So, who do you think we're
Yeah,
going to be taking our kids, grandkids to go and see in stadiums when we're like old and they're like in their 20s? Who's going to still be going?
man.
Who's going to be doing that? It's coming through now. There's bands that are just coming through. Don't say that Metallica is still going to be doing it. They may
Yeah.
be, but
I
who?
feel like at that point it's going to be too old. Like some of that stuff, I feel like from our range is going to be because it's supposed to be like the '90s bands. I think that were it's like they're still big now, but it would be along the lines of like Tool and Nine Inch Nails and
Yeah.
things like that.
But what
Like
about new bands? What about new bands coming through that you could see hitting that height? Is there any?
okay, so things changing now. I don't really know when bands start hitting heights like that because I feel like a lot of them haven't anymore.
Mm,
There's like a with music being more accessible and you can kind of choose what you want, and then everything more being like segregated into different like, oh, I like this, but I only like this with this and things like that. Like some of those
mm.
bands I don't know like are if bands are actually getting to that level anymore.
Yeah,
Like
I was
maybe
thinking the same
Ghost,
thing. Yeah. Ghost.
yeah, like Ghost hit it. Like I mean, but there's very few bands in that range that actually like pop up over this aspect of being. I mean, they're very big. They're big bands, but when you start playing stuff like that, it's like a whole nother world of how big you are. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Ghost has hit it, but is there even another band? I would say that's
Mm,
not. Yeah, I don't off the top of my head. I can't even
yeah,
think.
sure. I struggle with that one. I struggle with that one. Okay, here's one. Who has metal the best, US or Europe?
I mean, I should say U.S. I'm from here, but most of the stuff I listen to is European. So there you go.
There's your answer. There's your answer.
Yeah,
Okay, obviously you're in Texas. You have the death penalty in Texas, don't you?
I think so.
Okay, so what would your death row meal be? Three courses.
Three course death meal. I guess it'd have to be some kind of like classic, like I would say like steak, baked potato, um, kind of house salad that goes along with that old steakhouse style.
Yeah, but it
And
has to be
then
something healthy, just to be healthy.
yeah, I know for some reason like not even in the healthy range, but somehow I feel like there's I don't know if it's just like say growing up and going stuff like or it's been like some of these it's like the course of that like kind of goes along where in my head is like yeah, this is the progression on it.
Yeah.
And then I like some kind of cheesecake for dessert, I guess.
Yeah, classic, classic. Okay, here we go then. So, Necrofier, what's on the bucket list? What haven't you done that you want to do? What's on the list? What one thing would be like, yeah, that's fucking cool when you do it. What do you still want to achieve with it?
So I would love to do like say one summer do European festival circuit, which I think probably hopefully will happen in 27.
7. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That I'd like to do a couple of bigger fests just for the experience. Like I don't
Mm.
know what it does, but like Hellfest or Vaca
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But more importantly, I'd love to do something like Beyond the Gates, things like that. Like I feel like those are special fests with lineups that are
Sure.
curated to my taste and more than just like, you know, because those big fests are just a bunch of people. Where like some of the smaller
Yeah,
black
yeah,
metal,
yeah.
especially fests in Europe, are very like, oh, you listen to this? Yeah, I'm like this. What the fuck? All these bands are playing?
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
can enjoy the show and enjoy the show afterwards. You know, that's the magic
yeah.
of it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so last question. If no one knows who Necrofier are, and I know you don't like singling tracks out, what one track do you think sums the band up the best? Just one track. I know it's a tough one. I know you want to listen. Everyone wants to listen to it in its entirety because I'm going to play that track next. So you tell me what you want me to play next, basically.
Um, I would go with the first track off the new record. It's kind of like a mix of like it's aggressive. It still has a lot of melody in it, which I like we use a lot and things like that. But it there's heavy metal parts. There's black. It's kind of like I feel like everything we do is kind of in that track.
Awesome. That's coming up next. Well, listen, Christian, thanks so much for joining me on the show, mate. Good luck with the album and 2026. Hope to see you in Europe in towards the fall. We're looking forward to that and see
Like,
what happens in the future.
sounds good.